So you want to call hi and see what
I
happens?
think so.
Minutes left.
10 minutes what?
10 minutes to spare.
Okay.
The timing was pretty good.
Hello, Jim and Karen.
I can say hello. I just
Hi.
unmuted it. Say
Hi,
hello. Hi, Richard.
How are you?
Oh, we're good. How are you?
Hey, did you
Doing
get,
well.
I got a question, huh? I got a question for you.
Go ahead. Maybe I got an answer.
I sent a check to the temple
I got it.
for the raffle.
Got it.
Would you please deposit it?
I give those to Eric and he deposits it, but I did get it. Thank you.
Okay,
Hey, Jim.
yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
Jim.
Alex, how are you?
Karen, how are you
Barbecue.
guys? Good
Yeah,
to see you.
leave it the way it is.
Good to see everybody too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm not giving you.
Well,
Barbara Kuhn, I've been trying to reach you on the phone the last couple of days. I don't know if I got your correct number.
Huh? Excuse
You
me?
got to unmute yourself, Barbara. I'm trying to get Barbara Kuhn.
But we're on YouTube, so you might not want to say numbers and things, just to let you know.
I'm not saying numbers.
All right, I'm just saying, we're on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Barbara.
Hi,
Hi, everybody. I'm not on yet.
I just have my cell phone. It's 508.
No, don't say it. That's what Bernie's saying. Don't.
Don't say it.
Don't
Don't say
I-
it.
I'll get
Oh,
your cell
okay.
phone number. I'll call you
All
after
right.
Shabbat. or after Pesach, because we gotta wait a couple of
Okay.
days.
All right,
All
I'll
right.
write you a note.
No, just wait.
Did you want
Patience,
something special?
I'll talk to you after the holidays.
Okay.
Richard, I have her number if you need it.
No,
You
no,
can't-
that's no, I wouldn't call till after the holidays anyhow, so, and it's not an emergency, so thank you.
Hello.
I have it.
This is really what I want you to focus on most watched in the morning.
Hi, everyone.
Somebody's got
Hi,
TV or
Carol.
something.
Everybody.
Trust WCB.
Who's got a TV on in the background?
People think you're busy.
It could be me. Let me hold on.
Andy, I see you have a mask on. Do you have extra company tonight?
Delicious. Made on the North Shore, delivered right to your door.
I do, and when the kids are sleeping over, we wear masks.
Oh, that's good. Good for you, and that's great to take that precaution. Have you had your shots yet?
Of course.
I have, Harold and I have,
Okay, that's
but
good.
obviously the kids haven't.
Yeah, that's okay. You put the mask on the kids.
Right, yeah. They do have masks on too.
Oh, that's
But
good. Oh, it's okay to take the extra
I'm very
precaution.
lucky tonight. Yep,
Good for you.
thank you.
You can always use duct tape on them too.
Duct tape. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh. So is everybody
How you
past?
been, Rabbi Bernie?
I'm doing well. Is
how's your wife and
everybody
your
like-
mother-in-law?
She's doing well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
She's
that's
going to
good.
be 92 in a couple of weeks, and
Yeah,
she beat the COVID.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. She went
Sandy, what's up?
through some stages, but she's good now.
that's
That was
good to hear.
wonderful.
Thank
For asking.
Hi, Sandy.
Yeah, hi, Carol.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Hi, Bernie. That was a
Are you
wonderful
home?
So
You're in-
I'm home. The kids are sleeping over tonight.
Oh, okay.
When we're, less than 6 feet apart.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just want to make sure everything's okay.
Thank you.
I get a little paranoid when I see you wearing
That's
that at home, but that's okay.
That's very sweet.
I didn't mean to get crazy about it.
No,
I
no,
couldn't
no.
find my remote. I'd left the TV on and I couldn't find the remote. I was going crazy.
Well, we appreciate your caring.
Well, I care. Just want everybody to be well and happy.
Thank you.
Bernie, did I hear you say Masha had a little
Oh, how did
COVID?
you do that?
Yeah, she had COVID back in
That's right,
January,
you did.
and
Oh, my God.
it was quite a little bit of a challenge, I have to say, because Anita
Scary.
had it around the same time. And
Anita
for some
had
reason,
a,
the same time, yeah, a couple of days earlier, and I was very fortunate. I didn't get it. They were coughing and sneezing in my face for a week and a half, and thank God I didn't get it. So that allowed me to change the sheets every day and take care of them. I don't know if you know, but COVID, they wake up in the morning sweating profusely, and from the fever. And even though the night when they go to bed, they don't have a fever, they wake up, they're sweating. I can barely have the strength to get into the shower. And but we worked it way through, and we're
Thank God.
okay.
thank God.
And I'm not
Thank
doing
goodness.
sheets anymore for at least 2
Yeah.
months.
Rabbi Bernie, there's something called the power of prayer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So my mother-in-law, thank God, she's going to be 92 in the middle of
her.
April.
Good
And
for her.
she's okay now. She's okay. She beat it.
And your wife's okay, which is good.
Wonderful.
She's okay too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
She
God.
gets me in the head once in a while, but other than that,
Well, somebody's got to keep you in line. That's what we have wives for, right?
yeah. Thank God with that. Yeah. If anybody has any questions about what happens when somebody has COVID, it's not some passing cold. Believe me, I experienced
It's
it
real.
firsthand.
It's real.
I wish
real.
more people would understand that.
It's as real as can be, and I'd be willing to talk to anybody to let them know what I went through for about 3 to 4 weeks with whom my mother-in-law had to take to the emergency room 2 times.
Yeah, you said that the other night. Yeah.
But she managed. She's okay. So I don't
bless
want to
her.
get too much into it, but
Yeah.
Just God bless her and thank God she's okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
that's right. But now she knows to call me Bernie
go.
again. That's good. I'm not sure those other names,
I think what she called you before.
But we don't have to know that. That's okay.
And she knows who Anita is, so that's good too. So how's everybody doing? You all ready for
Masha
Passover,
and Anita
everybody?
both are done.
I am
Ready
now.
as we're gonna be.
This
As
afternoon.
ready as I'm ever gonna be.
Yeah.
I guess we're as ready as we're ever going to be. That's right.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys buy the egg mutzi?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
did, yeah, I
I
did too.
did.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I took-
Bernie.
I
I
have
took
to
your
say,
advice and bought that bar can wine, Bernie.
you know, that's one of my favorite as well. I like the Barkit. I like the Pinot Noir.
That's what I got.
It's one of my
I have no
favorite.
idea what it is, but you know, you said, so I bought that and I found the Manischewitz and I got my my blue bottle that I like.
Oh, yeah, Moscato d'Asti.
Moscato, yes.
I have some of that
Moscato
too.
d'Asti. That's what Alan has that, right? Is that your
Yeah,
Shabbos
I
wine?
love that.
We have
That's my
some of that,
favorite.
too. We're big Moscato fans.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So am I. I
delicious.
have Moscato. I love that.
It's great. It's the hottest thing is taking out the cork.
I know.
Well, you can buy the sous vide.
I
which
buy
they
I buy
sell
separate
in
corks
Trader
if afterwards.
Joe's,
I don't
and
have to
it's
fight with it anymore.
Much
Now that
easier.
cork, it's like champagne. That cork is in there so
It's in there
tight.
forever. Yeah.
Well, that's the nice thing about the stuff in Trader Joe's. It's cheaper and it tastes almost good.
Screw bottle, a screw top, huh?
Wow,
That's
there you
because,
go.
Rabbi, when they bottled it, the boss looked at everybody and said, put a cork in it.
Oh.
No, really, it's a tough cork
Stop.
to take out. Really tough.
That's the egg mott's already working on me.
Eggmont's already working on.
So I had egg matzah tonight for my motzi, and I have to say,
It
I
wasn't
don't
bad.
remember ever having egg matzah before. I never ate it before. It wasn't bad.
I don't think I
Oh,
ever
I
ate
like
either.
it.
Hi, Paula.
It's too soft.
It wasn't bad. It's not, that dry. I mean, it's not
No.
matzah, but
It's what I
Right.
take for lunch with my veggies and my gefilte fish.
Yeah, it's not chali either,
Nope.
but it's
nope.
No, it's not Choli.
And just
That's
remember,
the
you don't say motzi over it after Pesach begins. It's not bread. It's only loopholed for tonight and tomorrow morning. Tomorrow.
right.
That's
Right.
it. After that, it's just a cracker.
That's right. Thanks for that, Rabbi.
Oh, no. That's
There you go, Paula.
this is one of those years. Paula, pull it.
Okay, it's Friday, March 26th, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
8 p.m.
And we're going to ask everybody to mute while Rabbi Bernie gets us into the spirit of this big Shabbat. We have a really big Shabbat here tonight with Topo Chijo, the Shabbat Hagadol. Rabbi, bring us in.
Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Bim bum bim 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 bum. Bim 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 bum.
Bum, bum.
Bim bum bim 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 bum. Bim 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 bum.
Bum, bum.
Hey Shabbat Shalom. Hey Shabbat Shalom. Hey Shabbat 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 Shalom.
Bum.
Shabbat Shalom. Hey Shabbat Shalom. Yes. Shabbat 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 Shalom. Shabbat 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 Shalom. Shabbat 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 Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Hey Shabbat Shalom. Yes. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat, Shalom.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody, on this Shabbat Hagadol, the big Shabbat, the big one, which I'm sure we'll be talking more about probably tomorrow, but tonight we'll talk a little bit about it, maybe. But let's get some good news. We start off with good news on this big long Shabbat Yom Tov weekend. It's going to be a few days, but who's going to start it off for us tonight?
I will, Rabbi.
Okay,
I'm
Rabbi.
taking a lot of people off of the Mishaberach list because all of our prayers worked and a lot of them are well. Some were COVID and some were cancer. And one of my dear friends was actually going to lose a limb. And due to all our prayers, they're all coming off. Not all coming off. Many are coming off and they're all doing very, very well. So thank you all for helping me pray for them.
Let's say the Shechayanu. Go ahead. Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
Amen, 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 amen.
Amen.
Nothing
That's
makes
great.
me happier than to hear that when we're taking people's names off the list and they've been healed. So thank you for that. I just before Shabbat tonight, I got a text from someone whose parents were very, very ill, and they were very close, with COVID to not making it. And we said Shechayanu together. So beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that, Rhonda. And let's do that more often.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Anyone else with some good news for this evening? Everybody's so busy preparing for Pesach that nobody has any good news, right?
We do.
What do you got?
There is.
I had my second shot today. I guess that's good news.
That's great
And so
news, Alan.
far, I'm coming up on 7 hours since I had it. And so far,
So far, the only thing that I noticed was that thing growing out of your nose. Other than that, I mean, your forehead.
oh, I
Out
thought
of
it
your
was
forehead.
in my head, the horn to come on.
You look great.
As long as it's not chametz coming out of there, then we're okay.
No chametz, no chametz. Mazel
No chametz
tov.
coming
Mazel
out.
tov. You should feel good. Adele.
Thursday afternoon at 1:20, we got our second shot. We were out of there by 10 minutes or 2.
Mazel tov, mazel tov. And you guys are feeling okay.
My right arm's a little sore, but other than that, I don't care.
And you got the shot in the left arm, right?
That's right. And the good news is it did not stop me from cleaning the house for Passover.
There you go. Beautiful. Good news. Great stuff. Anyone else? Good news?
Esther, come on, Esther, you got a good news every week. Got to be something. No?
I think Carrie had her mic open. Carrie?
Yeah, I have some good news. Wednesday will be a year since my conversion.
Isn't that a year? It's a year. And oh my God, that was the most incredible conversion because as you know, but many of you may know that I think you were the last, it's okay for me to say? Yes?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
You were the last person at Mayim Chaim in the mikveh until they closed down. They had closed down for a long time and you were the last one.
Yeah, and as you know, I was just able to go there this past Monday night and it was beautiful to celebrate.
She went back again for her anniversary and also for Pesach to get ready.
Yep. And one other piece of good news is tomorrow, Ellie gets vaccinated tomorrow. So.
All right, good news. Ellie, her husband. So,
yeah, he misses his family and wants to get home to Israel. So
beautiful.
it's good news. One step closer.
Oh, that's so wonderful, Carrie. And it's just like, it's been a long year and it seems like yesterday that you went through.
I know, doesn't it? It's so weird how it's been so long, but yet everything has gone so fast. It's very bizarre, but yeah.
So nice. I can't
But
wait.
beautiful and scary and frightening time and sad time all at once. Very, very strange time.
I can't wait for you to come back to the shul so we can put you up on the pulpit and have you touch that Torah. That'll be so nice.
Fair enough.
All right. Who's next? Mazel tov to you. Who's next?
Hi, I'm Rabbi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Mimi's friend, Marilyn.
I know who you are.
I know. Okay, well, I've been challenged this year with this purple arm. Of course, it's my right arm and I'm a righty, so Passover has been another challenge. But I had the opportunity to have my son come and help me, and he now knows how to make chicken soup.
All right, Marilyn. Well, you just gave him directions, right? You gave him directions.
Well, I can't lift the pot and I can't strain it and I can't get it off the stove. So I needed help. He wanted to learn. So both my sons like to cook. So he did that. So it was an opportunity of taking
something that was lemons and making it into lemonade. And I can't wait until Monday when this thing comes off.
Well, you should have refuah shlema. You should heal fast. I know hands are tough. They're tough. They take a long time for healing. So
Okay.
I know I've been there with both. So it'll happen. You'll get better. You'll get better. You get better.
So I took an opportunity to have a teaching opportunity.
That's for sure. And now we know someone else who makes chicken soup. So we're in good shape.
Right. And he also bought 5 pounds of horseradish and made horseradish and gave it to people, just like my father would do.
There you go. The
He's
Lador
been
Vador,
copying
right?
that- he's been copying that one for a couple of
Lador
years.
Vador, we're passing this
Oh, yeah.
traditions around. There's hope yet. There's hope yet that the world will get better. Marilyn, you should feel better, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else with some good news before we move along?
I have good news.
Okay.
So there was an absolutely wonderful article in the Jewish Journal today, if people haven't seen it yet. It's about our associate rabbi, and it tells us everything we always wanted to know about Rabbi Bernie. And it was just extremely well written, and it was very nice, and it made me very proud to say that he's our associate rabbi. If you don't get the Jewish Journal, you could go on their website, on our website, and you can find the article. There's an absolutely great picture of Rabbi Bernie and a wonderful, wonderful article. So thank you, Rabbi Bernie.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I think Rabbi Perlman must have sent him the photo. I think it was in his library, but thanks. And I really love working with the temple and the rabbi and Adele and everybody else. So it's my privilege, and thank you.
I hope you didn't mind. I actually took that picture of you. And
I remember.
They asked for a photo. I said, he won't mind. I'll send this one. This looks just like him. So
that was me.
It is you. Yasher Koach, Rabbi. It was so wonderful to see the article. And it was, it was well
nice,
done.
yeah.
It was
And, I blabbed for at least an hour, over an hour. I said, oh my God, I can't believe what I told this guy. I wonder what he's going to write, but he was a real mensch. And
he's a mensch. Yeah,
did
he's
a
a good
nice
one.
job.
He's a
But
good
you
one.
didn't tell him about the green cab on the way home from Roastal.
I might have.
He left that part out.
He says, Rabbi Bernie, I'm sorry, but I kept with everything you're saying in the article. But
He just left out the green cab, sitting on those little seats, like with no seat belts or anything. But
All right. I think we should probably get started with the service. So with that, Rabbi Bernie, a beautiful job. And it's our win. I mean, to have you with us and to be my partner and our partner, all of our partner, for years to come. We should continue in good health, with nachas, with joy and success. So thank you, Rabbi, for saying yes to the board, and we appreciate that. All right, for those of us that are joining us now, it is time for us to welcome each other and welcome the angels of peace. We welcome Shabbat. It's not Yom Tov, it's Shabbat. So we start with Kabbalat Shabbat tonight. It's a weird weekend, I know. Page 13, and Rabbi Bernie will begin with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And the sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come, let us welcome Shabbat, the true queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her God's angels of peace and of rest. Come now, dear queen, with us abide. Come now, Shabbat, our bride. Shalom Aleichem, angels of peace. Yedid Nefesh, page 14.
Yedid Nefesh, Av Harachaman, Mishoch avdach el ritzonach. Yaharutz avdach kemo ayal. Yishtachave el muhadarach. Yerab lo yedidutach. Minof etzuf v'chotam. Yadadai dai dai dai. Yadadai dai dai dai. Yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 da.
And the Sabbath prayer. Dear God, help us now to make this a new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After preparation for Pesach, slaving through our kitchens, cleaning our homes, looking for every morsel of chametz with the feather and the flashlight or the candle. After dropping a glass bowl and shattering it into pieces, and hoping to God that I found every sliver. After concentration on work and responsibility and being forgiven for breaking the bowl, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. It's a good thing I have a wife who cares. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. We reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat. You know, Rabbi, it's true. I broke one of her favorite bowls. Page 15.
We all break a glass, a bowl, or something. That's what it is.
It's okay. And we walk around barefoot. What can I tell you? Page 15.
Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina ladona, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina ladona. Naria, Naria, letzo yeshenu nekadma, fana betoda. Naria, Naria, letzo yeshenu, bismirot Naria lo. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina ladonai, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina ladonai. Ki al gadol Adonai lamachal kol Elohim, asher b'dol kares, lo actually. Arbayim shana akut bedor, va'omaram toev levavhem, vehem lo yadu drachai, Hashem nishbati v'yapi, im yivon el menuchati.
And we'll read on page 16, Psalm 96. Sing a new song to Adonai. Acclaim Adonai, all people on earth.
Sing to Adonai, proclaim each day God's awesome might. Announce to the world God's glory and wonders.
For Adonai is great, deserving of praise. Adonai alone is to be revered as God.
All the gods of the nations are nothingness, but Adonai created the heavens.
Majesty and might accompany God's splendor and strength, adorn God's sanctuary.
Acknowledge Adonai, all families of nations. Acclaim God's majestic power. Acknowledge God's glory and bring him tribute.
Worship Adonai in resplendent reverence. Let the earth tremble in God's presence.
Declare to the world, Adonai is sovereign. God has steadied the world which stands firm and judges all nations with fairness.
Let the heavens rejoice. Let the earth be glad. Let the sea and all it contains exult.
Let field and forest sing for joy. Adonai comes to rule the earth, to rule the world justly, the nations with faithfulness. ישמחו השמיים בתגל הארץ, ירם הימום לאור, יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו, עד ירננו כל עצי ההר, לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, בימים
And on page 20, if you choose to stand, it would be appropriate. Mizmor LeDavid, page 20.
Mizmor LeDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei elim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'os, havu l'Adonai kivod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim Adonai, Adonai, al mayim rabim, kol Adonai b'koach, kol Adonai behadar, kol Adonai shover arazim, vayishaber Adonai et arzei havanon, vayakidem kimo egel, Lebanon v'Sirion kimo Ven re'emim, kol Adonai chotzev lahavodesh, kol Adonai yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, vayechesof ye'aron, ubhechalo kulo, Omer kavod, Adonai lamavu yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech liolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
And Lecha Dodi is on page 21. We're going to recite every other stanza.
Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela, Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Shamo v'zacho b'dibor echad, Hishmiyanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'shemu tiferet v'lithilah, Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Migdash melachim melucha, komitzi mitoch hafecha, Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha, vehu yachamol alayechem la, lecha dodi lekrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Hitorari, Kiva ore kumi ori, uri shidaberi, Kivod Adonai alayich nigla, Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. V'hayulim shisa shosayich, V'rachaku komevalayich, Yasis alayich Elohayich, Kim soskatan al kala, Shechado di lekrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom materet bala, Gam b'simcha uvtala, Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Lecha dodi lekrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela.
Whoops. And now the Psalm for Shabbat. We'll read responsibly on page 23. A song for Shabbat. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God.
To affirm your love each morning and your faithfulness each night to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp.
Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation.
How vast your works, Adonai. Your designs are beyond our grasp.
The thoughtless cannot comprehend. The foolish cannot fathom this.
The wicked may flourish, springing up like grass, but their doom is sealed, for you are supreme forever.
Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall crumble.
But me you have greatly exalted. I'm anointed with fragrant oil. I've seen the downfall of my foes. I've heard the despair of my attackers.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God.
And they shall bear fruit even in old age, and they shall be ever fresh and fragrant, to proclaim Adonai is just, my rock, in whom there is no flaw.
Tzadika Tamar, 4 lines from the bottom on the opposite page.
Tzadika Tamar Yefrach Ke'erez Bavanon Yeske Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvun Beseva Deshenim Verananim Yeyu Lehagin Yashar Adonai Tori Velo Avlatabo.
Adonai Malach Levesh.
Edo Techan Amnumi on Levekana Kodesh Adonai Leorech Yamim.
And now for the mourner's Kaddish. Those of you reciting the words of the Kaddish for your side or a loved one may open your mics. Please rise and join Rabbi Bernie slowly and together with the words of the Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba. Bi'alma divra kirute v'yamlik malchute. V'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekucha barichu la'ela minko birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran bi'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom shalom hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen.
Amen. It is time for the call to worship. For those of you that wish to join in for the response after the Baruch Hu, you may do so. And then we'll ask you to please remute your mics as soon as you do so. We normally stand for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevarach.
Baruch
Adonai Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Vaed. And with your mics muted, please join Rabbi Bernie in the English. Praised are you.
Praise Adonai, God who rules the universe. Your word bringing the evening dusk. You open with wisdom the gates of dawn. Design the day with wondrous skill. Set out the succession of seasons and arrange the stars in the sky according to your will. Adonai Tzava'ot, you create day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness away from light. Eternal God, your sovereignty shall forever embrace us. Praise Adonai for each evening's dusk.
O Mavir Yamamevi Laila. O Mavdil Ben Yamav Ben Laila Adonai Tzava'ot Shemo. El Chai B'Kayam Tamidim Loch Aleinu Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai. Amari Varavim. Avat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ויורך יומנו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, ואהבתך תעש ממנו לעולמים. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. You may join. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai. Please mute the mics as Rabbi Barney will continue.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha mechol avavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha v'beitecha u'v'lektecha v'derech u'v'shachbecha u'v'kumecha u'kashatam li'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot be'ein einecha u'ketavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'sharecha.
And we continue silently. Bahayim Shemot.
Yeah, Shemot Yisrael.
Leman yemuye mechem v'imei v'nechem al hadama asher nishba Adonai lavotechem latet lahem k'mei shemayim al haaretz. Continue. Vayomer Adonai al Moshe lemor daber al bnei Yisrael v'amata alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdeihem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakana patil techelet v'hayal lachem letzitzit uritem oto uzechartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem acharei einechem asher atem zonim achareihem leman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem emet. Page 32. Umalchuto b'ratzon kiblo alehem Moshe b'nei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha raba v'yamru chulam ni chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot O Sefer Malchutcha Ra'u Vanecha V'Kiayam Lifnei Moshe Zeli Anu B'Yamru Adonai Imloch Leolam V'Ed V'Nemar Kivarnai Et Yaakov Ugalo Me'ar Chazak Mimenu Baruch Ata Adonai Goal Yisrael. And with mics muted, please join Rabbi Bernie in the Hashkivenu Help Us Adonai in English.
Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people, Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu LeShalom V'hamidenu Makeinu LeChaim Ofros Aleinu Sukat Shalomecha V'takneinu V'yetza Tova Milfanecha V'hoshienu Leman Shemecha V'hagein Badeinu Lehaser Me'aleinu Yevdever V'cherberav V'yagon V'haser Satan Milfaneinu O Me'yachareinu Uvitzel kenofecha tastirenu kiel shomreinu matzilenu ata kiel melech chanun v'rachum Shmor Tzeitenu Avoeinu L'chaim U'Shalom Me'ata ve'yad olam Ufros aleinu Sukat Shalomecha Baruch Ata Adonai Haporei Sukat Shalom Aleinu Yal Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'yal Yerushalayim. Page 34, and now Vishamru.
Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'dorotam berit olam. Beini uben b'nei Yisrael oti li'olam, oti li'olam, oti li'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ביום דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו.
אמן.
אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה. בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, ושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ביעלמה ויאמרו.
Amen.
Amen. Time for the Amida. Amida, page 35A, if you have one at home. If not, you'll look at the screen. We have a B page up there. And I'll say it softly. You may say the words with me on your own, Hebrew, English, or use the words in your heart, private, personal prayer, and meditation as well. אוהל הגדול הגיבור והרעיון גומר חסים טובים וקני הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גולבי מלאים עמוד שבביבם חוזר וגמשכם ברוך אלם מגיד אברהם ובצורה אתה הגיבור למעלה מחמתים אתה ואבלו שימה שיברו רח מריד הגשם מחלקלכם בחסד וחיים מתים רחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חול ומתיר הסורים ומקיים על תור שני הפער מחמוך על בעל פרוט וגם מלאך מלך מניתם לכם עצמך ישוע ונאמן אתה וגדים בוקרניים מחיים מתים אתה קדוש ושמוך הקדוש וקדושים מביאים קצת ברוך בני האל הקדוש אתה קידש את יום השביעי לשמך תחלה מעשה שמיים בארץ וברכת מכל הימים וקידשת מכל הזמנים וכן כתוב בתורתך ויאכלו השמיים בארץ וכל צבאם ואכלו אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבו ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו יבוא שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ורצה במנוחתנו קדשנו מצוותיך ותנחנו עבודתך סבנו מטובך ושמחנו בשבועתך ודאי לבנו יברך באמת והנחילנו נא אלוהינו ביבב ורצון שבת קודשך וינוחו וישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אדוני מקדש השבת צאנה אלוהינו במך ישראל ופדותם וישב את עבודה בביתך ותביא אותם ותגבר ברצון ותהילה רצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך ותחזינו עינינו בשובך לציון ברחמים ברוך אדוני המחזה שכינתו לציון מודים אנחנו לה שאתה הוא אלוהינו ואבותינו ולמדנו אצלנו מגינישנו ואתה הוא לדור ודור נדור לך לספר תהילותיך וכן מסורים בידיך ויעל נשמתנו הפקדות לך ויעל נשך אשרך עמנו ויעל נבותך ותורתך אשר בכל עת ערב ובוקר בצהריים הטוב כי לא אחר רחמך אברמכם כלו תמוך צדך מעולם קיווינו לך ועל כולם יברך ותומם שמך מעכן תמיד עולם ועד וכל לכם דרך הסל עבוד שמך באמת האל ישועתנו ועד שכם ישראל ברוך ה' הטוב שמך לכם להודות שלום רב על ישראל ומך ויעקב ישבי תבל תשים לעולם כי אתה ומלאכתו לכל השלום בטוב עיניך וברכתם חסרה בכל עת וכל שעה בשמך ברוך אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. Please join with Rabbi Bernie with your mics muted, please, for the passage after the Amida at the word Redeemer. He's going to lead you in Oseh Shalom. Rabbi?
My God, keep my tongue from evil and my lips from lies. Help me ignore those who would slander me. Let me be humble before all. Open my heart to your Torah, that I may pursue your mitzvot. Frustrate the designs of those who plot evil against me and make nothing of their schemes. Act for the sake of your compassion, your power, your holiness, and your Torah. Answer my prayer for the deliverance of your people, and may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'yimaru. Amen.
Amen. May the one who brings peace to his universe bring peace to us, to all the people of Israel, Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, and all who dwell on God's earth. And we together will say, Amen.
Amen.
Time for praying for healing. And for those of you that have names on your Misha Berach list that you wish to pray for, you may say the names and then please remute your microphones. When I stop, you may do so. Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov Sarah B'Kar Rachav V'Layahu Yivarech V'Rafei Et.
Harold
Praise the
Hopkins,
Weaver, thou
Tommy
fire,
Schultz,
Brian
Heyman,
Nana Jamelski,
Howard Weinberg, Peter and Stan
Ben
Spiegelman,
Abraham,
Linda and Stu Morgan,
Leonard Schumann, and Donna
Stan
Lee
Sue Smith,
Rubin.
Steve Barris.
Steve Goldberg, Bernie
Donna
Gordon.
Claycomb, Reverend Francisco Tolentino, Judge Justin Phillips.
Al Zimmerman, Tina Hawkins, and Juan Barrios.
Kol ha'cholim b'kila kadosh ha'kadosh baruch hu yimalei rachamim aleihem lahachazikam lufrotam bishlach lahem meirav refuah she'mamin shem efrat hanefesh efrat haguf v'tok shecha Yisrael shabbatim elizok u'refuah akrava lavo hashtah ba'agalav ezman kariv v'nomar amen. May God bring blessing and healing to all the folks we just mentioned, all those on our lists, those we know of and those perhaps we may not know of who suffer illness within the congregational family. May the Holy One mercifully restore them to health and to vigor, granting them physical and spiritual well-being, together with people everywhere who may be ill. Misha Be'erach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Be'erach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. As we turn now to page 47, by Echulu, we rise.
Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevam. Vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa. Vayishpot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa. Vayevarech Elohim et Yom HaShvi'i. Vayekadesh oto. Ki bo Shabbat mikol melachto. Ki bo Shabbat mikol melachto. Asher bara Elohim. Asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon Konei Shamayim.
And if you're standing, you may be seated. Magen Avot.
Magen Avot bidvaro mechaye metim b'ma'amaro ha'el hakadosh ein kamohu hameniach le'amo b'yom Shabbat kadsho kivam ratza Lehaniach lahem, kivam ratza, lehaniach lahem, lefanav navod, v'irava fachad, v'nodeh lishmo, b'chol yom tamid, me'on habrachot. Ahoda Oda Dom Hashalom Mikadesh HaShabbat Umavarek Shiri Umeniach B'Dusha Liam B'Dush Le'Ohoneg Zecher Lemase V'Reishit Eloheinu v'le'avoteinu, ritzei b'mnuchateinu, ka'odshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'techelkeinu b'toratecha, sahabeinu mituvecha, v'samcheinu b'shuatecha, v'taheh libeinu, Li'avdecha be'emet, ve'anchilenu Adonai Eloheinu, v'yahava u'ratzon Shabbat kadshecha, v'yinuchu Yisrael, mikadeshei shemecha, Baruch atah Adonai. Mikadesh Shabbat.
Amen. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yom adivrach yirotei v'yom l'chmalchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayechon Beit Yisrael. Bagalav izman kariv v'yamru.
Amen.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lo me'amaya.
Yitbarach.
Yivarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalosh shmei k'rasha.
Berichu.
Richu le'elam min kol b'chata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nakamata damiram v'yama v'yamru.
Amen.
Amen. Tikabas loton uvoton d'cho Yisrael kadam avahoni b'shmai v'yamru.
Amen.
Amen. Yehi shlam araba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamaru.
Amen.
Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. O yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen. I think I got it.
I know Alan got it. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for the challenge.
You go both. Hi, I see Jacob is here. Hello, Jacob.
Hello, Rabbi.
Mimi, yes. The
Yes,
answer is
wine.
yes.
Wine, grape juice are all poured.
Of course,
Kosher
all of it
Passover.
tonight is kosher LePesach, the wine.
Kosher Pesach, I made sure.
Yeah, I mean, if your house is still on the up and up, you got to make sure tomorrow morning. But tonight I have my kosher LePesach kos, my wine cup for Pesach. It's filled with Pesadik of Manischewitz. That's how it's spelled some places. Jacob?
Yeah.
Make our day.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'atzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'yahava u'vatzon hinhilanu, zikro l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah, l'mikrayei kodesh, zecher tziyat, Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha v'yahava u'ratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen. Yasher koach, Jacob. What a great way to begin a Shabbat Hagadol. Nice job, buddy.
Thank you.
Shabbat Hagadol. It's the name of the Shabbat, which is what we're in right now. That is preceding Pesach. Rabbis explained that this Shabbat takes its name from the end of the special Haftarah, which we read tomorrow. I will send the prophet Eliyahu to you before the coming of the great Hagadol, fearful day of the Lord. And I'll stop there because Rabbi Bernie will probably be talking about that tomorrow, and I don't want to steal his thunder. But you'll notice earlier during the Hashkivenu, the theme was Eliyahu Hanavi. And so we begin with that this Shabbat, and tomorrow, of course, with Pesach coming right after Shabbat tomorrow evening. This being the Shabbat before Pesach, that special name Shabbat Hagadol, or the Great Shabbat. Now, this Shabbat is dedicated to the same guy who will come. He will come to our homes and join our Seder table all around the world, pandemic or not. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu, Elijah the prophet. As we read in tomorrow's Haftarah in Malachi chapter 3, verse 23, Eliyahu Hanavi is the person charged by the Tanakh, the Jewish Bible, with the responsibility of announcing the arrival of the great and awesome day of the Lord. This will ring in the coming of the Mashiach, or the period of redemption, not the person. The period. If we were to take a vote, Eliyahu has to be among the top 3 of the most popular and fascinating people written about in the entire Tanakh. In 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11, it says, "And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and separated them one from the other. And Eliyahu went up by a whirlwind to heaven." So what does this mean? Did Eliyahu go to heaven while he was still alive? To help us understand what this means, we're helped by a midrash, or rabbinic interpretation, that wants us to believe that Eliyahu Hanavi never died. So if Eliyahu never died, what might have happened to him? The rabbis teach that he has been spending all these years traveling between heaven and earth. What is he doing during his travels? He visits both important and not so important people. Whoever he visits, he brings with him lessons of loving kindness and of good deeds. The sages teach us that we all met Eliyahu when we were young children. Many of us have fond memories of meeting Eliyahu that remain with us to this day. We're taught that boys meet Eliyahu first. That is not the source of our memory of him because we, of course, were much too young. How young were we? We boys first met Eliyahu Hanavi when we were 8 days old, since we are taught that Elijah or Eliyahu is present at every Brit Milah. And I guarantee you, every one of us will never remember that day. Those who were there, those of us that were in that place. That is why, though, the chair that the 8-day-old baby is placed on is called the seat of Eliyahu. The rest of us all remember meeting Eliyahu Hanavi at our family seders when we open the door and fill a special cup of wine for him. After the door is closed, the children all run to see how much wine Eliyahu sipped. Then we tell them all about Eliyahu and how he must drink wine at every seder table, at every Jewish home. So he does his best to only take the slightest sip to avoid becoming shiker. For those of you that don't know what shiker means, I'll teach you after shul tonight. What does the Midrash invite Eliyahu to join us on these two occasions? What can we possibly learn not only about Eliyahu Hanavi, but about all Jewish people from this? The answer to this question, we must devote some of our time to understand how Eliyahu ended his mission on this earth. Remember, it was Eliyahu who was the prophet of Am Yisrael during the time of the first temple. That was a time when the adulterous and wicked king Achav and Queen Isabel were in power. While we are suffering from a global pandemic today, during that time, everyone and everything in Eretz Yisrael were severely parched by a devastating drought. The situation was very bleak. Eliyahu was determined to take this opportunity to prove once and for all how important the one and only true God of the universe, the Rock of Israel, the Tzur Yisrael, was to the entire world. So what did Eliyahu do? He arranged for an amazing contest that would take place on the top of Haifa's magnificent Mount Carmel, Har HaCarmel. While we have American Idol and UK Idol, this was most certainly the scene of the world's first idol show. This show was a bake-off between the two most popular prophets. The most popular prophets in the world, in fact, those who taught the word of idol Baal against the Navi Eliyahu, the prophet of God of Am Yisrael. Now, unlike the modern reality show that can be seen all over the world via broadcast TV and YouTube, the one that happened back then was truly of biblical proportions. It was not staged in a TV studio, but rather on a mountaintop that was in full view of an audience of no less than 600,000 Jews who were at the base of Har Carmel. Right after the biblical announcer introduced the contestants, Baal's audience cried out to their idol, encouraging it on to do great things. Of course, no matter how much they begged and cheered, there was absolutely no response. Nothing happened whatsoever. Not even placing a Mohawk-style hairpiece on Baal would make a bit of a difference. As it says in Kings 1, verse 18, after the pathetic showing of Baal to his idol-worshiping followers, Eliyahu Hanavi then stood before the people and called out to the Lord, the God of Israel and of the entire world. Unlike Baal, who stood there all stiff-liked and idle, in response to Eliyahu's call, a very bright fire came down from heaven and devoured the burnt offering that was being given to God. Yes, to no one's surprise, God emerged triumphant. In response to this, all the Jews shouted out in their loudest voices, "The Lord Adonai is God." And then with that, every one of the followers of the false god named Baal were destroyed. As we know, the talentless idol, he lost that one big time. After the contest, the most wonderful thing happened. Remember how parched everyone was from the long, severe drought? All of a sudden, much needed rain began falling from the sky. While Eliyahu Hanavi was extremely happy, he was not at least a bit surprised that God had won the day and rewarded the Jewish people for their undying belief. This would be a good way to end the story. But if you want me to tell you the truth, forget about it. This is because in the very next chapter of the same book of Kings, we get perhaps even a greater surprise. We read how Queen Isabel sent a messenger to tell Eliyahu that within 24 hours, he will have the same fate as the followers of Baal. Hearing this, Eliyahu got genuinely concerned. He set off on a journey of 40 days and 40 nights until he arrived at Mount Horeb, better known as Mount Sinai, where Moses had received the Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 Commandments. He begged God to take his own life. He could stand it no more. Why did Eliyahu give up so quickly, especially right after enjoying such a complete and unconditional public victory, after having witnessed God's unbounding power, after establishing such support from God? Why does he not simply stand up to this Queen Isabel? There's an answer to this. It comes from the reason the evil queen told Eliyahu that he would be killed. Not now, but in 24 hours. Why does 24 hours matter? Eliyahu understood that the satanic queen must have had a tremendous amount of insight into how the Jewish people approached life. Yes, even the queen knew that she could not possibly assassinate Eliyahu immediately. Why? It was because God's followers were still basking in the glory of that very public miracle. She also knew that because the Jewish people were flighty, that in as little as a day, the Jewish people would have forgotten God's miracle. More importantly, she also knew that the power she had as queen would let her get away with anything. The proof that the queen was correct comes from the fact that during the 24 hours following the miracle, the Jewish people behaved the same way they had been behaving before the miracle. Sure, they loudly declared God's glory at Mount Carmel in the evening, but by the very next morning, they regressed to how they had been behaving before. You know, if this would happen today, the same people who went to Minyan or studied Torah before the miracle would be the same people who would go after. Nobody new would be joining them. Very few families would switch their children from public schools to religious schools. In other words, when God displays these kinds of things, Jews forget very quickly. Even at Sinai, when they witnessed God's revelation, they immediately started murmuring. They wanted more. They wanted more manna. They did not like the taste of the water. They would murmur, complain, and yes, kvetch, kvetch, kvetch. Things never change. Even today, we take God for granted, just as God's demonstration through Eliyahu failed to change the Jewish people then. Compare the power of God's real, amazing, indescribable miracles to that of the virtual but fabricated miracles of the idols created by Walt Disney or Steve Spielberg or Cecil P. DeMille or Google or Amazon or Apple or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or the electronic game companies. After what we learn in our Tanakh, our Jewish Bible, we no longer need God to do any more than keep the sunrises, the sunsets, and other miraculous things good old Mother Nature does to remind us how all and powerful God is. No matter how computer-generated fire or thunder or rushing winds appear to be, they can never compare to God's natural world. God is not about fleeting ideas or theatrics or ballet or concerts or even great speeches. God can be found in the still, small voice that lives within each of us when we pray or when we are deeply embedded in Torah study. God can be found when we perform acts of loving kindness and good deeds that result in life-changing experiences. Still, we continue to be impressed with what is virtually generated from entertainment devices that are purposely designed to play tricks on our hearts and our minds. God does not play tricks. God's magic is not created to be an illusion designed to make humans into gods. God's magic are real miracles that have a lasting impact. Even though we know this reality, we continue to fall for tricks that try to prove idols are more powerful than our God who calls upon us to be partners in creation that is ongoing in this day and age, today in the present. The realization of this truth is what frustrated Eliyahu even back then. He was so upset by this that he was driven to ask God to take his soul. He was so frustrated with the Jews and their leaders when he realized how shallow their beliefs in God were. He felt there was no hope for Jewish repentance. He even got angry with himself for thinking that a moment of entertainment provided by God would permanently inspire the Jewish people. This led Eliyahu to say to God in Kings chapter 19, I have passionately acted as a zealot for the Lord of hosts. But Bnei Yisrael has forsaken your covenant, has destroyed your altars, and has killed your prophets by sword. I now remain alone, and they wish also to take my soul. In response to this, we're taught that God sent a cloud, put Eliyahu in it, and took him to the heavens, anointing the prophet Elisha as his successor. It is obvious that Eliyahu could no longer be a prophet of Israel since he had lost his faith in the Jewish people. This teaches us that no person can or should be a spiritual leader of the Jewish people if they do not understand that prayer and Torah are the way to lead people to return to God, leading to the redemption of the world. The Midrash teaches that Eliyahu was not allowed to die. God was able to charge him with a mission. It is my understanding that God said to Eliyahu, you declared that the Jewish people have forsaken their covenant with me. I want you to see how wrong you are. I want you to go to every Brit Milah to witness firsthand the willingness of every Jew to spill their own blood as proof of their commitment to a Jewish future. You will also attend every Pesach Seder all over the world. You will hear every Jew proclaim their faith in freedom and redemption. You will hear every Jew sing L'Shana Haba'a B'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. You will see how parents and children work together to build a Jewish future based not on fleeting ideas, entertainment, and idols, but on our rich Jewish past. Your presence at these two most important ceremonies will allow, as Malachi chapter 3, verse 24 says, the hearts of the children to be turned toward their parents, and the hearts of the parents to be turned toward their children. Without a doubt, Eliyahu Hanavi will be with us this Pesach. As he dashes into and out of our homes, let us enjoy a sip of wine with him while he rushes through our homes. Let us make sure Eliyahu Hanavi understands how much we love our God. And most importantly, because we really do love our God, let us encourage Eliyahu to quickly return to announce the coming of the Messiah quickly and in our lifetime. Amen, 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 Selah. Shabbat Shalom and Chag HaPesach Sameach to all. And with that, I say, Amen.
Amen. Yashikon.
It is time for Aleinu. As we turn to page 51, you may rise and join Rabbi Bernie with your mics open if you so choose.
Shel Samchokenu Kahem, V'Nahor Aleinu K'Chol Ha'olam, V'Anachnu Karim, U'Mishtafevim U'Madim, Lifnei Melech Ha'Elohim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ehu Notei Shamayim V'Yosei Haaretz, U'Moshev Yikaro B'Shamayim Ima'ah, Ushkinatu zo v'gabe meromim. Hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu emet zulato. Katato b'torato, v'yadata hayom, v'ashevota el levavecha. Ki Adonai hu Elohim, Shamayim v'ya'aretz mitachat ein od. Okay, let's go down here to very second. The Kilko Moshidan, the Kharabasu, Shmaka. Kakatov Toratecha, Adonai Yimlach Me'olam Va'ed, V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech Kol Haaretz, Bayomahu Yiyeh Adonai Echad, U'Shema Echad, U'Shema Echad.
At this time, I'll ask everyone to mute their microphones as we recall this week's Yortzites. With love, we remember Edward Brody, Charles Gleich, Irving Babner, Marilyn Sulloway, Miriam Zunick, Helen Miller, Albert Kelman, Joseph Lewis Klein, Sandra Davis, Leonard Krasker, Beatrice Levine, Ruth Lowy, Robert Rosenthal, Corinne Savy, Sumner Gordon, Norma Mazur, Milton Rappaport. Are there any other Yortzites that have not been announced? At this time, if you wish to say the name of the loved one you're remembering tonight, either for a Yortzeit or for a Kaddish, you may now open your microphones and recite the name.
Janet Kaufman.
Mordechai Ben Esther.
Sylvia Toby.
David Kaczynski.
Shlomo Amzlog, Henry Kelleher.
And may the faith that binds us to our loved ones be a continuing source of comfort as we invite those who mourn and those observing a Yortzeit to rise and to join us as we recite the words of the mourner's Kaddish together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divra chirutei. V'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon u'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'olam u'lomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushvachata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom v'alav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen ve'amen. We'll ask everyone to please mute your microphones as we now call our president, Adele Labarsky, for tonight's announcements. Adele?
Shabbat Shalom and Yasher Koach, Rabbi Bernie and Rabbi Perlman. I also want to tell everybody that I had a wonderful experience today, that I was there when the rabbi burnt the chametz, and he sold the chametz to Osvaldo, and Ed Gustad and I were the witnesses. So it was something that I had never experienced before. So it was very well done, and it was so the rabbi has sold everyone's chametz, so no one has to worry about it. Services tomorrow morning are at 9:30. Tomorrow night is the first Seder with Rabbi Bernie and Rabbi Promid at 6:30. Sunday morning services are at 9 a.m. The Seder Sunday night is at 6:30 with Rabbi Promid and his brothers. And Monday, the second day of Pesach, services begin at 9 a.m. There will be no evening minyan on Monday. You can do Havdalah at home at the end of the service, at the end of the Yontef. So services are Tuesday through Thursday at 7 o'clock. Then next week begins Yontef again. So Friday night is the seventh night of Pesach, and so we will seventh day of Pesach. So services next Saturday will be at 9 a.m. again, and Sunday at 9 a.m. And Yiska will be recited on Sunday, April 4th. So I got a request this evening from a friend of Rabbi Bernie's, Nissim, who would like to tell a funny story about Rabbi Bernie. So I'm anxious to hear.
Bernie, you went on yesterday, so I had to wait to tell the story today. Someone yesterday mentioned if they should chill red wine or white wine. You know where I'm going with that story, Bernie?
I'm not sure, but
okay.
Go ahead.
So back when we're in, first of all, I've known Bernie since 1971, so I think I can call him Bernie, not Rabbi, right?
That's okay.
So Bernie used to come over after Shabbos. You had your father's Mustang, may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
And it was all, and Bernie at that time looked like Serpico. He had the full beard, the long hair, and he was the only one, we were underage at that time, that was able to buy beer or wine. Remember that story?
I remember that.
Okay, yeah. And the only place that never asked Bernie to be carded was this little liquor store at the corner of Beacon and Summit Ave. And every time he'd go and buy. So one time he goes and he asks the guy, do you have any chilled red wine? And the guy goes, what? Red wine chilled? Let me see your ID. And then he came out with nothing in his hands. And that's when we learned that red wine is always served warm.
Yeah,
remember the story?
I remember that. Yeah, it was Costa de Sol. The guy said,
yeah,
it was Costa de Sol. I says, yeah. Well, it's not. I said, don't worry, I'll put ice in it or something. He goes, you're going to put ice in Costa de Sol? Let me see your ID.
And we had to go visit. We never drank in the car, by the way, just let everybody know. It was always at Fred's house.
We were good Jewish boys. We behaved ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. The wine was for the Jewish girls, not for the Jewish boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we drank beer. Okay.
Nissim, thank you for sharing that with us. That's a great.
Thanks, Nissim, and don't sign on again.
Okay. All right. That's it. That's
also a great explanation of the word chicker that I was talking about earlier.
I wasn't going to go there. Okay.
Adele, are you concluded or?
I am concluded, but it's so great that Nissim has his real face, because I really thought he was Leroy Jethro Gibbs for many, many months. So you see the real person now. So thank you for sharing that with us. He did ask me if he could share it, so I said absolutely. So thank you.
Actually, Nissim was the best man at my wedding, so he's a close friend of mine.
Well, that's how he knows you so well. Okay, good. Well, now that I know you chill red wine, so will I. Anyway, I will say to you this: tomorrow morning, when we have services,
glad I asked the question.
Tomorrow, when we have services, we're going to start off tomorrow morning with the final blessing for Chametz. By the way, we'll do that because it's really weird, how things went. We did what we did today, but tomorrow morning we'll finish. So if you're still possessing Chametz, you still have till tomorrow morning when we start our service. After that, you're on your own. Shall we continue, Rabbi? With I have no chometz. As a matter of fact, I will tell you. I know last week I was trying to remember which tequila to use, Carrie, and it's silver. silver Patron is kosher LePesach. So
Yes, it is.
that's
Silver
unfortunate.
Patron.
That's unfortunately what I will be. That's my apple juice tonight. So let's conclude with Yigdal, and then we'll have our L'chaim Tovim.
Sounds good. Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach v'nimtza v'yenet al metziuto echad v'yen yachid keyichudon elam b'gam ein sof le'achduto ein lo demud haguf v'yeino guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon l'chol davar asher nira Rishon v'yen reshit l'reshito. Hino adon olam b'chol notzar. Yoreh gedulato malchuto. Shefa nevuato netano. Elan segulato v'tifarto. Lo kam b'Yisrael k'Moshe od. Navi umabid et emunato. Torah temet natan liyamoel al yad neviyon eman beito lo yachalif ha'el v'lo yamidato liyaholamim lezulato sofe v'yodeya sitarenu mabid l'sof davar bekadmato gomer le'ish chesed kimifalo Noten l'rashara kirishato yishlach l'ketei amin mishichenu lifdod nechakeket yeshuato metim yechayel b'rov chasto baruch adei ad shem tehilato metim yechayel b'rov chasto Baruch Adeyat Shem Tehilato.
And in love, our God restores the life of all our souls. May God be ever praised until eternity. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
So tonight, before we end, I think we need to toast all of the people who worked so hard over the past few weeks to get their homes ready, to get their businesses, whatever you did, all of the work. It's not easy to get ready for Pesach. And I want to thank the people who make sure the products are in their stores for us. Unfortunately, I've seen some ads of people that are not really giving us the right things, and I don't want to get into that on here. But so for those that truly make Pesach kosher and have the products available to us, we thank them for the service that they do for the community. And so for all of us that work so hard, getting our fingers, dirty and getting everything cleaned out for Pesach, working hard, partners, husbands and wives, people working alone and not fighting with each other. What a wonderful thing. Baruch atah Adonai v'olam shakol niya bevaro l'chaim tovim u'shalom l'chaim tovim u'shalom L'chaim, 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 tovim u'shalom. Oh, wow, whoa! That was a Pesach flush. Boom.
Yeah, well, that's because I had the shot this afternoon. So.